Welcome to a new video. Let's take a look at some new malicious compliance stories. The first story is called, "We Are Replaceable?" I used to work for a small non-profit organization. The average number of clients served was around 250. The average caseload is 12 but can range from 10 to 20 per person and may exceed 20, depending on circumstance. The non-management staff hovered around 18 to 20 people. The new staff isn't really able to effectively use client-authorized hours until several months in, so the organization is reliant on senior staff to keep projected income up. Keeping it as understandable as possible, one of the perks of being a senior staff member was receiving a personalized, facilitated plan for your goals. Once the plans were done individually, everyone who received one from all regions of the organization came together as a group to discuss. This was meant to be an opportunity to share, support each other, and figure out the next steps. Since our plans were mostly done around our goals at the company, we had an honest conversation about what we need to be successful. It wasn't inappropriate in any way, and many of the needs we brought up were already being met. It was honestly just a facilitated discussion around how to keep focused on advancing our career there. Well, one person from another region with more weight didn't like how the day went, so they complained to their manager. That manager worked herself up about it, created a new story, and went straight to the assistant director. The assistant director is a very reactionary person and isn't very well liked. Most just avoid or placate her. Everyone in my region at the group meeting gets an email from the assistant director, saying we need to cancel all appointments and be in her office at a specified time the next day. Remember, we're senior staff, which means 5 of us cancelled our client-based appointments to go into this mystery meeting, losing the company money. The meeting comes, we are sat down in front of all of the managers in our region and the assistant director. She launches into us with the following highlights: "How dare you use group time to provide feedback about the organization?" She's so ashamed and doesn't trust us to represent the company, informs us that we wasted $7,000 of the company's money and that her toddlers behave better than us. She ends this 5-minute rant by saying that every one of us is replaceable, and they'd be happy if we left. We 5 sit in stunned silence before the meeting is concluded and we all walk out. Turns out the assistant director never spoke to the facilitator, didn't consult any other attendees from other regions. In fact, she didn't bother getting any additional information at all. To add insult to injury, my boss, one of the managers in the room, told me the point of that meeting was to make us feel bad when I asked what follow-up was needed from me. I found a job within 2 weeks and left. 2 other people in that meeting quit within a month. A 4th is halfway out the door. Others found out about the meeting, and so far, 4 additional staff have left. All 7 of us who quit, so far, had been there 3 years or more, and our departures were no more than 2 months apart. Our total caseloads numbered roughly 120 clients, meaning that almost half of the organization's clients are without staff to support them, and there are now 5 new hires without mentors. One of the new hires quit because of this, making 8 people gone in 2 months. This turnover has never happened before. I left behind 3 years of stellar client relationships and high outcomes, and took with me the knowledge on everything from mandatory training to the billing protocol. I developed the billing protocol for the new database, and no one had stepped up to learn it prior. Must feel bad to be you, I guess. If you tell staff they are replaceable, their answer will be so are you. The next story is called, "If you don't like it, don't take it." So a little backstory: I'm a senior in high school and I've taken Spanish class since middle school. Our school requires 4 years of any language, and all freshmen entered with 1 year completed, so they only required 3 years of a language. That being said, my school offers advanced placement Spanish, which is new and considered the 5th year of Spanish. The catch was that the only Spanish teacher for this was known as the worst teacher by far because of his attitude. He would take it personally when people were bored in his class, which happened frequently because he was a bad teacher. He wasn't very professional and was known to play pointless Spanish games that everyone disliked, in place of an actual lesson plan. Needless to say, everybody hated this teacher. Anyways, the reason I enrolled in advanced placement Spanish was to have more advanced courses on my transcript for college. Even though I knew I didn't need to take the class, I took it regardless, as a filler course, just like everyone else did. This meant that no one really took the class seriously, and that, combined with the particular teacher, was an awful recipe. Today he thought we should watch a Spanish video. In his class, we normally watch a video in native Spanish that nobody can understand, and then the teacher basically translates it word for word so we know what the video is about. Somehow he thinks this helps us with learning conversational Spanish, but really everyone just ignores it the first time and waits for him to explain it before paying attention. So today he puts on another video that makes 0 sense to everyone and gets angry when some people ignore the video. He then pauses the video and goes on some long rant about how he spends tons of time finding videos that fit our topics and nobody cares, just like he always says. Towards the end, he gets defensive and says, I don't need to be here. I'm here for you guys. If you don't want to take this class seriously, then leave. Why bother wasting our time? Unfortunately, this speech completely backfired. We all unanimously realized that we don't need to take this class for any reason. We already had 4 years of a language and had the option of taking this class or not. The following Monday, about 10 students had talked with their guidance counselor and dropped the course. I stayed, knowing that I would probably follow soon after, and the next day was brutal. He went on his usual tangent about how some people can't deal with the commitment of this advanced Spanish class, which we all knew was stupid. He then gave us some extra work, just to show that he is the guy in charge. Fast forward to the end of the week and there are 6 people in the class, not including me. It's clear he wasn't expecting so many people to leave when they had the chance. From what I've heard, his class is mostly just watching Spanish movies now. I sincerely feel bad for those 6 students when the exams roll around. The third story is called, Tuck Your Shirt In. I used to work in a call center, selling vacations for a major hotel chain. My boss was a huge douche. All he did all day long was walk around and make sure everyone had their shirt tucked in. And generally be a negative person, who everyone hated. No customers ever saw us, and we were secluded from every other department because we were really loud. If you have ever worked in outbound sales, you know what I mean. There was literally no reason to tuck in shirts, but the boss for some reason thought this would help us sell better. I come into work on my birthday, and my friend runs up to me and yells, "Happy birthday!" right in front of my boss's office. He looks up and says, "Hey." I'm thinking he is going to say happy birthday since he no doubts heard her. Instead, he said, "Go ahead and tuck your shirt in," and he does the hand signal like he's tucking in an imaginary shirt. So I say, "No problem, I just have to put my stuff down real quick and I'll take care of it." So I walk over to my desk, which takes like 7 seconds to get to. I go to put my stuff down, and as I am, he comes up behind me again and says, "I said to tuck in your shirt." So I quickly tuck it in, and as he's walking literally right by me, I say, "Sorry, I just had to put my things down first." And he walks by like I never said a word. Immediately, I bust out my human resource manual and check out the rule on tucked in shirts. Turns out you must tuck in all shirts except a Hawaiian shirt. So right after work I go to Walmart and buy 10 of those, and wear the most obnoxious Hawaiian looking shirt the next day. The second I walked in, he looked me up and down, glared, turned around and walked away. When everyone asked why I was wearing such a ridiculous shirt, I told them about the loophole, and within a week, half my office was wearing Hawaiian shirts. It drove my boss crazy. But it was all within the guidelines outlined by company policy. The next story is called, She Demands 2 Toys. So I used to work at a fast food chain and we'd change toys every month or so. We'd market movies and shows with toys, as most people would know. Sometimes we would just have kids' toys like ponies. We had a policy that the toys were not boy or girl, since sometimes girls wanted the monster truck or a boy wanted the pony. I didn't have a problem with it since I am a girl and I love Transformers and stuff that is traditionally marketed to boys. We'd have to ask something like, "And does your child want the car or the pony toy?" That way the child can ask for what they want. It was nice to see some parents were being open-minded and getting their kids whichever toy they liked. But some parents did not. So one month we had ponies and Transformers. I love Transformers and I watched them when I was a kid with my brother every chance I got. So when the toy was released, I'm not ashamed to say I bought them all. I was working at the front counter and taking orders when a mother and her daughter came up. They ordered their food, and when the kids' meal rolled up, I turned and asked the little girl which toy she wanted. I like doing this because a petty side of me doesn't want to go through the parents. The little girl said she wanted the robots. I was so excited another little girl liked Transformers, but my happiness was deflated when the mother said, "That's a boy toy. You're not a boy." I was fuming. My head could have exploded. I had so much to say at that moment, but I couldn't. Not to mention the look on that little girl's face crushed me. Memories of being picked on for liking Transformers and Power Rangers filled my head. I begrudgingly selected the other toy, which was the pony toy. Now keep in mind that these toys have to be small to fit in the box. Otherwise, it won't close. Just after I finished her order and 2 others, my manager told me it was time for my break. There was one last toy on the Transformers list I was going to buy. When getting my food ordered, I saw that the woman and her kid were getting their food. After I got my order taken, the woman came back to the counter. "Are these the only toys you have?" "For right now, yes. These are tiny." "Is this all there is?" The manager was a little shocked. "Yes, that's how they come." The lady then ranted that she should get 2 of them as the toys before were bigger and the price of the Happy Meal was too much for such tiny toys. They argued for a bit before the woman stormed back to her table. Looking at the toy in my hand, I had the most perfect idea. I walked over to the table and handed the Transformer toy to the little girl. I'll always remember the pure look of joy on her face. Your mother said you needed another toy, so you can have mine. I hope you like it. The little girl smiled and said, I got the pony and the toy I wanted. I felt so happy at that moment. The last story is called, He is a Special Snowflake. I work at an elementary school with a child who requires a one-on-one assistant. That's me. The kid has a few things going on, both a physical and mental disability, as well as general social anxieties. All in all, a pretty good kid, but has some extra difficulties at school. His mother, on the other hand, is kind of a piece of work. She has reamed out the school and the special education department because we try to hold him to reasonable standards such as doing homework, learning independence, and interacting with other kids. Now, anyone in special education will tell you that kids that require the extra help are not going to always be on grade level with their classmates. But if you help support them and expect reasonable outcomes, they generally rise to meet those. She apparently thinks that we're a glorified daycare and he shouldn't be required to do any work at all. The kid picks up on this and knows how to read a room. Any time his mum walks in, which she does often and unannounced, his entire demeanor changes. He throws tantrums, he complains that the activities he's been doing and succeeding in are too difficult, it's a real treat. So recently the kid has been doing things to get out of work. He will lie about what work he has, he will complain about it and he will forget or run out of time at home. We brought this up to his mother, and, as should have been expected, we were shut down. My son doesn't lie. My son can't lie. He doesn't know how. So today, the kid was doing an independence exercise, where he's given instructions to go to one of his specials without adult supervision, and his goal is to get there without stopping and getting distracted. I had to have a quick meeting with his homeroom teacher, so he had about 10 minutes to get 30 feet. When I catch up with him, he's about halfway there. Hey man, what's up? You're not mad at me, are you? No, just curious. Why aren't you where you need to be? He is clearly trying to avoid being in trouble and thinking hard. My leg hurts. He grabs it and does a quick intake of breath. I had to stop. Now, I know he's lying. I also know that he has work that he has to make up because he ran out of time to do it the night before. I also know that directly after the music class is physical education, his favorite special. I got super serious and definitely believing him and worried, that's really unfortunate. Well, I don't want you to get hurt, so here's what we can do. Let's sit down right here, and we can work on your homework that's due today. The kid was realizing what is happening. No, it's okay. But I interrupted him, no, I know you're telling me the truth because we just had this discussion that words matter. I really don't want you to get hurt, so if you tell me your leg is hurting, we can just skip physical education today and work on your worksheet here. At this point, the kid is realizing what he's done. I said, it's okay. I'm not angry or upset. I'm just worried, if you tell me your leg hurts, I have to look out for you. We wouldn't want you to hurt yourself, especially in physical education. So it looks like we've got about an hour to work on this worksheet. Let's start with the first question. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please consider subscribing to the channel for more content. Let me know what you think about the stories in the comment section below. Have a great day. Bye bye.